When we're talking about like Sioux City's getting people to come here and explaining to them what it's about, I kind of just want to show you a few videos here. The first one is basically last year, to set it up, in 2019, I traveled to Clearwater Beach, Florida, and I kind of like look into all of the cities I'm traveling to before I go to them. And this is the video that I came across for Clearwater Beach, and let me get it loaded up here. What are we looking like on volume? All right.
To meet you with a morning kiss, where the sand is as soft as sugar and the water sparkles like an emerald jewel. Know what I'm going to do today? I can play. I can fly. I can sightsee. I can shop.
Okay, so that's what they have on their tourism commercial. And so I think that Clearwater Beach is going to be a nice place to go. And then there's something to be said about being upfront in your advertising about what people can expect when they get to your city. And sometimes you got to own some of the negative stuff. If they would have told me, hey, you might get in an Uber outside of the airport and a meth addict who is watching Ancient Aliens on an iPad driving down the interstate is going to pick you up, I would have been less startled by this.
Does the strange power over life and death come from?
So what I'm saying is there's something to be said about being honest in your advertising and being straight up and owning the things that people might say you have a bad reputation for. So I envision a 2-part series of videos for Sioux City tourism in which in one video, we lay it all out there. The things that people say that are bad, we say, hey, it's all right. In the second video, we go, now check out all the great stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I made part 1. I think you'll like this. Hi, I'm Taylor Grote, content creator, entrepreneur, and aspiring cult leader. I run a company called Honeywave Media in Sioux City, Iowa, and it recently came to my attention that Sioux City, Iowa has been getting a lot of hate. So I think it's time for us to address you haters. Down in Omaha, they keep talking about, oh, it takes Sioux City 12 years to widen the interstate from 2 lanes to 3. They're so dumb. Well, the joke's on you idiots, because it only took us 11, and look at this puppy. People want to criticize our city planners and say, you put a porn store right in the middle of town, right off one of the main streets. What's that going to do to the children? Well, we don't got to worry about that in Sioux City because research has shown that only 7 out of 10 children understand that sign's in the shape of a giant. Sioux Falls has been jealous of Sioux City ever since they called the song Sioux City Sioux instead of Sioux Falls Sioux. And then they want to talk about our water tower and think that we're rubbing it in, and they say, oh, the water tower is not even that good looking. It's a pretty ugly mural. They probably wasted a ton of money on it, but they have no idea how much money we saved by not paying for the licensing of the actual notes to the song and just making up our own instead. So we win again, Sioux Falls, take that. The haters like to say that there's nowhere to shop in Sioux City. You gotta go to Omaha, Des Moines, Sioux Falls. But we have 2 malls. They're right across the street from each other, and both of them are half full. So there's plenty of shopping to do. A lot of people try to talk about Sioux City smelling bad. We have a wastewater treatment facility right in the middle of town, and that's a bad idea. But you know who says that? Babies. In Sioux City, we put on our big boy pants, and we put a city park right next door because we're not scared of a little smell. I hope this video has done a good job of clearing up some of the rumors about Sioux City and whether or not it's actually a great place. But if you have any doubts, feel free to come visit sometime. You might not hate it. See, there we hit them with the jab, and then get them all loosened up. They're thinking, what is Sioux City? They're really owning all the things that we've said about them. And then we come in and we say, check out our food, check out all the things to do, our sports teams. If I get that down to 30 seconds, can we run it as a commercial?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I'll take it.
I do have a board. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to Dave and Alex. We'll get it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. No, I mean, it's very similar that when you ended, you may not hate it. I think it's Nebraska is we're not for everybody.
Is it?
I think that's their slogan, and
Wow.
it's
Now I got to rethink my entire strategy if
but
Nebraska's
that's
doing
that's
it.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska, we're not for everybody. Well, you're right, but
Yep.
we're for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So-
Now that you mentioned that, a light bulb went off, and I think it's either Nebraska or Wyoming. But yeah, I think it's Nebraska.
It's one. I think it's Nebraska, but you're right, and it's. I mean that's brilliant because they are doing the same thing. We're not for everybody, but we might be for you.
That's the thing about Sioux City specifically too, is that you get people who move here, and some people are like you, where they say, "I love it. There's so much to do," and you're actively trying to seek out and embrace the things that make Sioux City special, different, and great. And so many people come here and they go, "Oh, it's dirty. It's a gross town. And the people here are so negative." And it's like, I don't know if you've heard the way you're talking right now, but it sounds a little negative. And they just cut themselves off from what Sioux City is and what the Sioux City experience can be and should be. That I just think that people who take that point of view are doing themselves such a disservice.
I agree.
Yeah. I've lived in plenty of different cities from my time in the military and college and stuff. And Sioux City definitely has a different vibe than anywhere else that I've lived. And I really enjoy it. I like the total lack of pretension here. Pretense? Well, the total lack of whatever that word
Pretense
would be. Yeah,
sounds
pretense, the noun. And there's such a nice. I always say Sioux City when people talk about how do you get guests on your podcast or how do you do this. I'm like, in Sioux City, people don't say no when you ask them like a nice favor for something. It's just people are so willing to help here that. That alone, you can take away a lot of the stuff we have to offer, and just like the genuine good nature of most people who live here makes it a pretty enjoyable place to be in the first place.
Well, there is a saying about Midwest nice, and it's definitely true here.
Yeah.
Just from what I've noticed.